Eric Holder, the first African-American Attorney General, who resigned last fall after serving 6 years as our nation's chief law enforcement officer, is worthy of a tribute. He exhibited qualities that exemplified what an Attorney General should be. He was courageous when he stood up to Congress and faced contempt charges. He is a man of great principle who sought justice for all Americans after the economic collapse driven by Wall Street. He is a man of great compassion who cared about the people he tried to help. He had to face the realities of being an African American in a country that, in spite of its stated beliefs, still exhibits prejudice against blacks. But throughout his time as Attorney General, he did what great men do. He persevered. Holder was held in contempt by the House of Representatives when he refused to produce secret and sensitive documents related to the Justice Department's Fast and Furious operation. This was an operation begun in the George Bush presidency that allowed for funneling of 2,000 guns into Mexican drug trafficking organizations. American Border Patrol agent Brian Terry was found murdered at a site where 2 of the guns were found. To protect other agents and other secret U.S. drug enforcement operations, Holder refused to release certain documents. Holder did not give in to the relentless attack by Darrell Issa, the chairman of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. He became the first Attorney General cited for contempt of Congress. As many other Attorney Generals had done historically, he held back sensitive and secret information from Congress, yet he was singled out. It took great courage for him to stand up to Congress. In the end, the congressional investigation faded away. There was really only political motivation behind the attack on Holder and the Obama administration. Holder was a man of great compassion in carrying out the duties of his office. During his resignation ceremony, he cried because he had not completed the job he had set out to accomplish. Jonathan Capehart of the Washington Post visited Holder's office for a tour one time. One of the photos he saw in Holder's office was that of Holder kissing the head of a little boy. As Holder described what he told the little boy who had lost his father in a drug enforcement operation, Holder's voice cracked with emotion. He explained to Capehart, with tears in his eyes, that he simply told the boy that his father was a hero and everything would be all right. Nowhere was his compassion more evident than in his description of the photo. Holder was also a man of principle who felt he had left his job undone at the end. One of his greatest failings, he acknowledged, was his inability to gain convictions against any of the Wall Street bankers, who most Americans felt were largely responsible for the financial meltdown of the country in 2007. And yet he was very proud of the accomplishments of his department. He was proud of the success of the Justice Department in fighting voter suppression laws, and he was proud of the work they had done to promote equal rights for the LGBT community. Both his failings and successes were driven by his devotion to his principles. Holder, as the first African American Attorney General, was mistreated because of his race. In a speech in 2014, he called his treatment by Congress as Attorney General unprecedented, divisive, and ugly, and racially motivated. He had to face a Congress that showed no respect for a man who had spent 26 years working in the Justice Department for all Americans. He was berated publicly by Congress time after time and for no apparent reason. In spite of his anger and frustration at Congress and the frequent criticism he endured, Eric Holder did what all great people do. He persevered. He fought for American civil rights, battling voter suppression laws. He remained steadfast in refusing to being browbeat by Congress in spite of what appeared to be racially motivated politics. He stood up for the rights of the LGBT community. He approached his job with not just the technical expertise of America's chief law enforcement officer, he did it with great compassion. I salute Eric Holder as a great American. Thank you.